Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Mad Hatter Radio, reporting live from the end of days. And this go around, I want to talk about a really sad situation that's happening in Baltimore, Maryland. As many of you know, if you pay attention to the news, that is where the Freddie Gray situation happened, where no officers were arrested, convicted in this case, but they were accused of they were accused of killing Freddie Gray in what was called a rough ride. He was strapped into a police vehicle, and as he came out of the police vehicle after what some people allege a rough ride, he came out with his back broken. So a lot of people were saying people who claim that they are victims of police brutality say that this is a tactic that the police do to punish people. But a lot of the media said it was bullshit. A lot of people said it was bullshit. But now we have this Baltimore gun trace task force controversy. And if you guys have not been paying attention to that, this is a doozy, right? So we have 8 members of Baltimore's gun trace task force who were indicted in a racketeering ploy. So let me talk a little bit about what happened, and then we can kind of discuss overall what this all means. So the craziest thing about this gun trace task force controversy is that there is a police officer who was a part of this task force. His name was Sean Suter, and he was scheduled to testify about this situation. He was killed by his own gun, right? Shortly before he was due to testify, which should raise alarms, but apparently it hasn't. And this is actually the only line of duty killing of a cop in Baltimore's history that has not been solved. Think about that. But I'm sure that's just a coincidence, right? We should just look the other way because the cops never do wrong. Never. We should always trust them. I mean, there's no problems with giving people in authority all the power they want and allow them to police themselves. I don't see what can go wrong with that, right? So here's some of the stuff that these Baltimore police officers are accused of doing. Some of them have admitted to doing, and others have testified that either they've done or other people within the task force have done. So they stole hundreds of thousands of dollars. And there was one situation where I remember reading this in one of the articles by the Baltimore Sun, where they would just steal the money and they would go to the bar after and they would dole out the money to each other and split it. Just right there. I mean, you talk about just implicit, just right there in front of your face. Like they don't care. They just do it with impunity. Uh, so they were also accused of stealing rent money from a nursing home worker, right? They've been accused of breaking into homes without warrants, and also a lot of the police officers were not able to pass, you know, uh, simple probable cause tests and constitutional tests, and they were just put right onto the streets. I mean, you have cops who aren't even trained properly, who are just being thrown into the streets, and we wonder why we have these situations. But again, these are cops, so let's just believe everything that they say, right? That's what the other side wants you to say. They also there's a victim who claims that he was put in jail, with a fake gun charge for 3 days, and the victim's son died while he was in jail. And again, remember, 8 members of the Baltimore task force were indicted in a racketeering ploy, and some of them, I believe, at least 8 of them. I don't have the numbers right here in front of me, but some of them have have pled guilty, and have been found guilty. So this is not like this is all accusations and they got off. Um, they've also been accused of running their cars into groups of men who would then run and scatter, and then because those men were running, they said that that was reason enough to chase them and arrest them and abuse them. They would also grab BB guns, right, and bring them with them and plant them on people that they shot, right? So if somebody didn't have a gun and they were shot, essentially if an unarmed person was shot, they would drop the gun on them. I mean, this is something out of a Dave Chappelle skit, right? Um, you know, Something happens, what do you do? Sprinkle a little crack on them after you shoot and kill them. And they filed false police reports. So all of this is going on, right? And what does this say? To me, it's like the community had been complaining about years and years of being abused, and everybody, for the most part, brushed it off. I mean, we're talking about from the top down in Baltimore, in the media, uh, people on the far right, and even people on the far left. There are people on the far right and far left who, believe that the police are there for a reason, but I think there are people in the middle who kind of question the role of police. So there are a lot of people who did not believe the people of Baltimore, especially because they're poor brown people. The Freddie Gray riots happened, and again, people looked at that and said, "Oh, well, look at this, black people acting crazy." And again, nobody wants to look at the reasons why this is happening. So, I mean, you got to really look at this, man. Like, to me, this is like this world that we live in. And I know that this has been going on for a while, but just to see this unraveling and the lifting of the veil, I mean, we got some serious issues in this country we got to handle, man. I mean, there is some serious evil going on amongst people and the way we treat each other. And sometimes I just can't even believe what's going on. I really can't. Um, what do you guys think? Because honestly, I'm at a loss of words. This story was really tough to get through, man. Just because I know people in Baltimore. I used to live in the area, and just to see that city just go through what it's gone through, after the Freddie Gray and it's trying to rebuild itself, and this happens. I mean, it's like the city just can't heal, man. So I want to leave that there. You guys, let me know what you think about the whole situation. I hope to bring more information and more stories like this about particularly corruption in high places, because that's what I want to do. I want to bring truth and I want to bring light to what's going on in our world, and I want to speak up for the people who can't speak for themselves and speak out when I see things that are wrong. So again, thank you guys for listening. If you like this, please like it. Please like the video. Please subscribe. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. And everybody be safe.